In the third and final part of this island road trip series, I visit Connemara National Park, the Dingle Peninsula and Killarney National Park. I cover a lot of ground in the second half of this trip, exploring more of the incredible coast and continually being surprised by the beautiful landscape. Alright, so I'm now making my way south down to Connemara National Park, and I'm going to stop off at a few different locations along the way just to break up the journey. And the first one is this incredible castle in the background there, sort of standing in front of quite a dramatic mountain range. And yeah, really beautiful. Sort of points like this in the trip where it makes it feel more like a road trip. So yeah, I've left Donegal now. Really enjoyed a few days there. It's such an incredible coastline, so dramatic, and yeah, definitely worth visiting. It was a brilliant start to the day, and my next stop would be McDermott Castle, which is a ruin on Loch Key and serves as a reminder of the area's rich medieval history. I spent a little bit of time here with a relaxing walk along the water's edge. My next stop would be Rosserk Friary, and this is a well-preserved friary dating back to the 15th century. I spent a little bit of time here just wandering around. It was very quiet and relaxing, and yeah, definitely felt very off the typical tourist trail. My next stop would be Keem Beach, which is a beautiful part of the coastline. I saw that this was part of the Wild Atlantic Way route, so I thought it was worth checking out. In the early afternoon, I then made my way to Connemara National Park, and just before I got there, I just had to stop and take a moment for this incredible view. After checking into the hotel and refueling with a delicious fish pie, I was eager to get going and explore the area. I knew I'd be a little bit short on time that evening, so beforehand I researched an area that I could explore that had some very photogenic fishing huts. Absolutely amazing place. I wasn't expecting it to be as mountainous as it is, but yeah, this is brilliant. Absolutely incredible. Quite a bit of driving today, but yeah, broke up the journey and stopped off at a few different locations along the way, which is good, definitely needed. For sunrise, I headed to a place called 12 Pines Island.
And yeah, this was a really cool place to explore, and when the sun rose above the far mountains, it just got even better. Before heading further south, I went to a nearby beach, which just looked incredible in the sunny weather, and it also gave me a chance to reflect on this part of the trip. In hindsight, I probably should have stayed an extra night in Connemara National Park, because I felt like there was so much to explore here, so I'll definitely have to return at some point. I then got back on the road, heading to my next stop, which was the cliffs of Moher. I heard mixed reviews on visiting this spot, but I thought I'd go anyway as it was on the way. I knew that it would be a little bit touristy, but wow, it was packed. I actually found that the cliffs at Slieve League and Donegal were far more dramatic and way more impressive. I then made my way to the final destination of the day, which was the Dingle Peninsula, and I was really looking forward to exploring more of this area. As sunset approached, I made my way right to the tip of the peninsula, where you can get some incredible views out to sea.
So I've made it to the Dingle Peninsula, and look at this weather, beautiful.
I eventually made my way to Dunmore Head, which had some spectacular coastal flowers and jagged rocks sticking out from the ground. The next morning, of course, I had to go back to another castle ruin, and this one was Minard Castle.
So I'm exploring around the Dingle Peninsula this morning, and I've come over Connor's Pass, which is absolutely spectacular. Again, I keep saying it on this trip, but I just wasn't expecting this mountainous sort of scenery. I was expecting sort of dramatic cliffs and, you know, great coastline, but yeah, had no idea I'd see this. This is, yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I love the lakes down in the valley, sort of watching the clouds, seeing their shadows in the valley. It's really cool.
After this incredible viewpoint, I made my way to Killarney National Park, and the first stop was Tork Waterfall. I then did a quick visit to the gardens of Muckross House.
It's interesting actually, because the further south I've gone, the busier and more touristy it's got. I was sort of expecting it to be fairly consistent throughout my whole trip, but yeah, it kind of makes me think back to Northern Ireland and Donegal, and yeah, it makes me realise how quiet it was in comparison. Yeah, I definitely get a sense of more international tourists that come to this area. So yeah, it's kind of been interesting.
And after a pretty chilled afternoon, for sunset I went to Ross Castle, where I got some beautiful golden light and was a great way to end another brilliant day. For sunrise the next day, I went to a very picturesque church in a quiet area of County Cork. And what an incredible final morning of the trip. For the remainder of the day, I made my way back to Dublin with a few stops along the way. The first stop was to see the well-known viewpoint of St Colman's Cathedral near Cork. And the second was the Rock of Cashel, which was very impressive and quite conveniently located on the route to the airport. And that would be the end of my Ireland road trip series, and all in all, it was a brilliant trip that I thoroughly enjoyed. In hindsight, I could have done with an extra couple of days in the south just to properly explore the area, but other than that, I really enjoyed myself. Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully see you in the next one.